Hi everyone, welcome to our post-session reflection video. So I'm going to start with Chloe now. We're just going to go over the exercises we've done, how Chloe felt, how she moved through the exercises, how I felt as a coach, and we'll kind of go on from there. So starting the session, we've done a warm-up. So we've done the assault bike. We've done a set of 30 seconds on, 1 minute off to build a good heart rate. We built to about zone 2 and do a heart rate of 120 to 130, which Chloe done really well. We picked it because it's a good challenge for the client, but she also had a lot of confidence on it. She was confident on the bike as well, where it was quite easy for me to give an instruction and Chloe followed it down to the T. So I'm going to get Chloe's feedback on that now. So how did you feel on the assault bike?
Yeah, it was quite smooth.
Yeah?
Yeah, explained well, and I felt relaxed and happy with the tempo of the bike.
Yeah. Do you think you could, if I said, how can we make this hard on the assault bike, would you feel confident if I said, right, we're going to do intervals of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, for 8 to really build a good aerobic base and our heart rate high? Or would you say you prefer to go for like a minute on, 30 seconds off? What would be your ideal style for that?
Shorter distance.
So a shorter
time.
A shorter time space of working. Yeah.
Harder tempo. And
yeah.
How many rounds?
Rather than going for a longer distance, go right. That's fine. So we move on to our main cardio practice as well, which we also got into, which we used the concept 2 rower, which was part of your getting better, what we get better at, which after my demonstration on the rower, you executed perfectly. Your muscle groups reactivated, your time on the rower, the session targets. So my feedback was it couldn't be much better realistically. Your technique was brilliant, the way we moved through the rower and the way you was efficient from A to B, not just flailing, chucking your arms back or just trying. Kept a really low and good stroke rate. So for me that's all good. That's obviously a strong point of yours. So how would you feel you done on the rower?
Yeah, good. It is a strong, I am getting better. It is a strong implement that I use on a weekly basis in the gym.
Yeah.
And it's all about making sure the technique is right.
Perfect.
Yeah,
we want to do it, which is what we said in the consultation. You were targeting the rower for your aerobic base, which is great. So moving on with your stretching, how would you feel your stretching was? Is your mobility, you're on the high scale, you were over 5, or you were low scale? Is mobility something you need to work on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To work on mobility, yeah.
That's fine. That's good.
Yeah, I neglected a bit.
Yeah, it happens with everybody. So with regarding mobility, then the movements we done, would they movements you implement in your sessions, or would they be done with a shoulder pull and retractions? You do a lot of snatching in CrossFit, obviously. So is that a warm-up exercise you do?
Yeah, a lot of overhead stuff, because my overhead is quite shocking.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the exercises we did, I'd implemented my warm-ups and cool-downs, yeah.
That's good. Moving on to our weights and our resistance training part. So would you say, reverting back to what we done in the to start, we started with barbell overhead press. Obviously, because we didn't have the facilities of the rack, we couldn't use the rack. So we were cleaning the bar up. Obviously, we struggled with cleaning the bar up. Because Chloe recently did a competition, and obviously her lower back was not in pain, it was an injury, it was just a state of fatigue. So which we scaled back on the bar. We had to take the plates off, purely and simple, there's no problem. But when we have the facilities in the rack, the weight and the numbers will just increase. So would you think that was a good idea to strip the weight back?
Yeah.
Giving yourself the time?
Yeah. Could have been a potential of an injury otherwise, I didn't want that. So yeah, it was good.
You said with the overhead press, you said your overhead movements are quite, not your strongest point, so there'll be more things you'd look to implement in the future.
Yeah.
More overhead movements. So would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say overhead? 1 to 5, 5 to 10? Are you in the lower category or the higher category?
Probably the lower of the high.
Yeah, so the 4 to 5 is
strong,
yeah.
But it's just my range of motion.
That's fine.
For more snatch rather than my shoulder press is quite heavy.
Yeah, but it's
just
just
my snatching and my overhead squats.
That's very good. So going on to another resistance movement, we walked through. We went into box step overs, which I was called out upon on the box step movement. I demonstrated the box power step up, but we were just doing box step turnovers, which in hindsight and Chloe at the time corrected me on it on that demonstration, which was good. But you got to take into account some clients are fearful of using the box step up, and it's a nerve-wracking thing. Taking a 24-inch step, it's a lot. Chloe's very confident and capable of doing these, so I was glad when Chloe said, "Oh," when she talked to me after on camera, she said, "Oh, you've demonstrated something I'm not doing," and I immediately retracted. So it was good. Obviously, Chloe's competent and confident to do it, which is great. But when you were doing the box step up, we can obviously make that harder, adding weight, slowing it down, going higher with the box step up. So would you feel you keep box step ups in, or box step turnover, sorry, or would you just keep doing as they are? Because you get them in workouts. How would you get strength and progress in the box step up for yourself?
Probably move it to a box jump over rather than step up, so you've got the pace in the workout as well. And obviously you could, for a box step over, add dumbbells,
kettlebells,
yeah.
barbells,
and
if
higher reps.
if you really adventurous. So moving on to our cool down stretching. Something you said you struggled with was your lower back pain. So we moved into the angry cat, the lion spinal twist. Did that help? Was it on a scale of this really helped, this really didn't help? Would you feel it did help?
Yeah, loosened my back.
Yeah.
A lot.
So do you feel a lion spinal curl is better than, not better than, sorry, that's the wrong word, but more, it gives you more than you would a lower lumbar stretch? Was the lion spinal curl a more advantageous movement than lion?
Yeah.
Because when we planned it in, it was more to release your tension in your back post-competition. We don't want to be adding any injuries. So you happy with them?
Yeah, good, yeah.
Anything good on your side? Would you feel, I know we all say about mobility, but would you feel you would do those exercises post-workout?
Yeah.
Would you push them for yourself to give you
on a daily basis,
more progression during your sessions and your training? And then lastly for me was our bike cool down, which is the C2 concept bike. Again, you're confident with the equipment. We're not worried about the equipment, but yourself with the C2 bike, is it something you're strong at? Is it something it's just gets chucked in there, or is
I do it quite a lot with CrossFit.
Yeah.
But I struggle more with the longer distances for time rather than a short, sharp.
Like if you're doing a 10 cal, build up a 10
calories for time or something like that. I need to work on more of my volume.
Right, which is, you said, with the aerobic pace, which we're looking to do, which is going to be great. It just gives us a more of a target point. It was in for a cool down, which is obvious. We're looking to get the heart rate back down, not looking to spike it again post-session. So which for me, I'm happy to, if we had to, switch out a row for our C2 bike, and we can work for distance, we can work for time, we can work on the fatigue. So which is a great start. So thank you very much for your little post-session comments that you've done. Would you do the session again? Would you recommend myself again?
It was very in-depth, very informative, welcoming. It was, we didn't go above and beyond to my standards. You stayed, to what I could
in the spectrum,
and you were very honest, and it was great. Yeah, enjoyed.
Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, mate.